Today's episode is focusing on Back to School 2023 ideas for teachers and for your kids. I love teachers so much. Where would we be without them? They have been through so much over this last couple of years, and this year I want to encourage all of you to go that extra step in the mile to make them feel special, to make them feel seen and heard and appreciated. All right, now let's get crafting. Inside the Dollar Tree, they have brought something new to all their locations. They now have an end cap that is dedicated to gift cards, which is really cool because if you're trying to do a quick gift like I'm doing for my projects in this video, you are going to be able to find these gift cards. Now I picked up a couple different ones that I know the teachers are going to love, and a red cup that looks kind of like an apple, and I brought them into my craft room, as well as one of these treat bags and some gummy worms. And we're gonna make the quickest teacher gift ever. Teachers love gift cards because it doesn't take up any space in their classrooms, and they can put it towards their personal use or towards their classrooms if you go with a more generic store like Target or Walmart. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue these gift cards together with some adhesive. And once I've got those glued together, I put some of this cute little packaging crinkled up papers in. I'm adding in the little bag of treats. And this makes the easiest, quickest, and cutest gift to give to a teacher that they will all absolutely love. A really fun idea for a gift for teachers and even for your students, especially if they're going to college, you make them a survival treat kit. Pick up a whole bunch of different types of treats, some chocolate, some not, have a nice different mix of what the different treats are. One of these little tackle caddy boxes, and you're just going to basically fill each one of the little sections. Go ahead and close it all up with all the treats inside, and then customize the front. Now Dollar Tree has tons of vinyl to work with, and you don't have to have a cutting machine. You can simply just take the vinyl home, cut out a piece that you need, and if you want, you can trace on an image with a Sharpie marker and cut that out. It basically turns into a giant sticker, so don't be afraid of the vinyl section in the Dollar Tree. I actually do have a vinyl cutting machine, but I wanted to show you all how incredibly easy this is, how I just pull back the paper on the inside of it and then rub it down. Once I added on that apple, and this right here is actually an iron-on vinyl, and I ended up just simply putting some adhesive on the back of it for the green glitter. And now the Dollar Tree also has some rub-ons, so I'm going to customize a label on it and rub that down with a popsicle stick, and ending up with the cutest gift ever. This project is so much fun. You're going to grab a pair of cloth tennis shoes. I picked these ones up from Walmart. They were the best deal for this particular shoe. They were about $13. I'm going to start by taking out the shoelaces because I'm going to be making these for Miriam for her first day at school. And she's probably going to wear them more than just once because they're so cute and she loves them. Now I'm showing you can use washi tape to create these lines, so you'll have clean lines all over the shoe. But after I showed the first one, I'm gonna just move over to not using washi tape anymore. We're gonna start by taking some pink paint that looks like an eraser and paint that back portion of the shoe on the heel. And then we're gonna move on to a tan color paint, almost peach, that will work for the wood part of a pencil. Make sure to open up the tongue area and get that paint down inside there and come along those edges nice and crisp with a angled pointed brush. And then we're going to come in with the yellow paint. I just take my time when I get around all of the eyelets on the shoe, and I also come in with a much smaller, finer tip brush to make sure I get all of those little areas nice and tidy. and take my time. Once I've gone all the way over the areas where it would be the yellow pencil, and you can see down where the tan and the yellow meet up, I did a little zigzag edge so it looks like a pencil that has been sharpened. I'm going to take my black paint, come around the very tippy toe of the shoe, and create the part where it looks like the lead of the pencil would be. At this point, we're almost done, but we're going to bring in a couple of more little details that is really going to make it look like an adorable little pencil shoe. We're going to take a small paintbrush again. We are then going to take some gray paint, light gray paint that represents a metal silver look, and we're going to just paint that part, a little strip in there so it looks like the eraser is clamped on at the top of the pencil. Once you've got that all painted, come in with black paint one more time to paint on a number 2, a little dot, an O, and an N for a number 2 pencil. Putting this little detail on the side of the shoe really completed the look and made it look so much like a little pencil tennis shoe. For my paint, I'm just simply using a traditional acrylic paint, which is going to lock into the fibers of these cotton-based shoes, and it is going to hold really, really well. If you think about it and you get paint on your clothes that's acrylic, it doesn't come out even if you try to scratch in it and wash it because it soaks into those fibers. So once you're all done painting everything and it is really truly dried, go ahead and add back in those shoelaces, and they're ready for that first day of school or for a teacher that you really adore. I honestly want a pair of these in my size, and I'm super jealous that Miriam gets to wear these on the first day of school. Aren't these just so stinking fun? They really were so easy to do. I highly recommend heading to Walmart or maybe even Target if you can find these shoes. I got the best price for them there. So definitely pick up a pair of them if you want to get creative and do something special for their first day back at school. This gift is the easiest gift. Head to the Dollar Tree and pick up a couple of candles. They have these miniature green apple and red apple cinnamon. They are such a darling gift to give to all sorts of teachers that you want to have in mind if you're especially on a budget. I'm going to be using some green ribbon for the red candle and some red ribbon from the green candle. Snip off the extra and it's ready to be gifted. Now we're going to be using these 3 free fall freebies down below in my description box. You're going to start by printing them out and cutting everything out. Now for my apples, I am doing a thick border around the apples, the leaves, and the stem, so that way the apple and the stem doesn't break over time, and that way it'll be able to hold better to the actual apple part of this printable. So you can see here, once I've got everything cut out, I'm going to take a long piece of twine, but before I get going, I'm going to do a little knot at the end that has a loop, and then cut off the extra so it's not too long, that little piece that's left over from tying the knot. And then we are going to be able to start adhering all of our pencils and our apples to the twine to create a darling and simple banner. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue right on that twine, line up my pencil onto it and make sure it's as straight as I can get it. And then once I've got that glued down, I'm going to flip it over and add a little bit more adhesive to the back by zigzagging back and forth over the twine. I'm going to repeat that for each and every single one, and after you're done with that, add a twine loop to the end and it's ready to be hung up. I'm always amazed at how many parents still shop at other stores for school supplies, because the Dollar Tree truly carries all of the school supplies that you can get on a fraction of a cost that other stores are charging. They even have name brand Crayola products Now you can see here, this is their off brand, which is their Jot brand, but they carry all the name brand supplies in here as well, from pens to crayons to all sorts of different things that you could possibly be needing, and you will save yourself so much money. I know this next idea is really popular on Pinterest, and I wanted to give it a try because my church was actually collecting a whole bunch of school supplies for an organization. So I decided to make myself, for this donation that our family is going to be doing towards our church, is a giant school supply cake, because they are so fun to make and they are so easy to make and they just are so adorable. I don't know how else to say it. You can see here that my base is a charger plate, a large Tupperware type bowl, a cup, and now I'm just coming in with all the supplies and rubber banding them on. This is the big trick, is that you don't want to glue any of the supplies to the actual containers. Using rubber bands is the best way to do it, and you can conceal the rubber bands by taking some ribbon, tying it around it, and simply tying a knot. And also, when I was adhering all of my Tupperware containers together, I was using E6000 and hot glue. You could avoid doing that and just going with the hot glue, and that can be peeled off. But honestly, I really wanted it to lock in and not have any problems. So I'm using that E6000 in there, and you can see here now I'm working on the bottom layer. I went all around the bowl with a bunch of pins, came in with 3 rubber bands, and now I'm going to put glue all the way around the base to hide those rubber bands. It is such a fun project to be able to build up all these different layers, and you just keep simply adding on those rubber bands, tucking the things in there. The more rubber bands you add around those items, the stronger you'll be able to hold it in there and not have anything slip or fall. Now, if a rubber band's kind of too tight, just make sure you kind of spread it and stretch it a little bit. It'll warm up that elastic in there. It'll let you stretch it a little bit further. And then I'm now going to just tie on another bow down at the bottom of the layer of the cake. And then up at the very top, I was thinking, what do I want to put in there? I could have put some tissue paper. I could have put a lot of different things. And then I thought it would be so cute because I have these faux apples on hand. I picked these apples up from Amazon, but you can get them at the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm going to just take one of these dowel sticks and cut it down, and I'm going to skewer on 2 apples. I thought a red apple and a green apple would be so adorable to put at the very top of this cake. So once I've got those skewered on and glued into place, I will say I wish that I had done this topper before I put the pencils on. So just keep that in mind if you're going to build this yourself. Whatever you're doing for the topper, it is much easier to get the topper on first. But you can see that I'm pushing my hot glue down in there, and I actually created a hole at the bottom of the cup, or better yet at the top of my cake. And I'm inserting that dowel stick into that hole with that hot glue, and I'm putting in some of this shriveled up little papers to complete the look of this darling cake. For this next project, we're going to be taking a flat metal frame, and you can do it with wood too, as long as it's flat. Some of these measuring ruler sticks, and I'm going to link the ones I purchased. I actually bought a huge box of them from Amazon. I'll link that down below, but you can get all kinds of rulers that are at the Dollar Tree. And then what we're going to be doing is we are going to be making an adorable back to school frame. Now friends, here I am with these miter shears. Oh, when I'm using them with popsicle sticks, I like them. But when I'm using them with anything else, I don't like them. They do take some time. You can see I was cutting on one side, cutting on the other side. If you go back and forth a couple times, you will get a good cut. But I honestly feel like anybody who has arthritis, avoid these. If your hands are fine, go for it. Have a good time with this tool. So you can see here, I'm going to clamp down one way, I'm going to flip it the other way, and I'm going to clamp it again. And as I was saying, like, it takes some force to cut with them. And it is really cool when it does. I enjoy it. But I don't want to ever mislead anyone in thinking that these tools are easy to use, this particular miter shear. So once I had all of my cuts and measurements done, I'm coming in with some E6000, and I'm going to come in with some hot glue for a short-term, long-term hold, because wood being glued against metal is not necessarily going to hold with only one glue. So the reason why I wanted to feature this project in this video is that teachers can't always have big gifts given to them because they don't have a lot of room in their classrooms. So a really adorable project to do for teachers is if on the first day of school you can get a picture of all the students together and put it into one frame and put the date of the year that those kids were all in that class together. Teachers love pictures like this to be able to put in their classroom on a shelf or to adhere them to a wall with some foam tape, and they can document all the years that they've taught at that school, which is really a fun and thoughtful gift for the teachers to be able to document that year with those kids. And it's really fun too if they've been at the school for a long time, kids come back and they can still see their picture and their class year on the wall. And also, it's such a cute gift to have in your own home for your kids. We all take this picture of our kids' first day back to school or last day of school. What do we do with those pictures? They just stay on our camera. So I wanted to make a picture frame for my own home. I actually have some decor I put out when we're going back to school to get my kids excited for the fall season. And I'm just simply going to insert their picture, and on the top I'm going to decorate a little apple with a skewer stick to make sure it's glued on there nice and strong. I'm going to add some ribbon and a little date at the very top, and this makes the sweetest frame to put out for the school season. I don't know about your schools, but at our schools or any school my kids have ever been to, we always get a back to school shopping list. You could just bring them inside of the store bags. But friends, our teachers have been through so much this last couple of years with everything being online, with Chromebooks. They just need a little extra love, in my opinion. And so we could give them in a little shopping grocery type bag, or you can get one of these little containers from the Dollar Tree and you can just assemble the little package. Super cute. I want to show you how quick this is and easy to do. And I'm just going to simply take the biggest items in the back, which are the tissue boxes. I'm going to put in these little folders. These are the specific things that Miriam's teacher asked for the second grade. And I'm going to just slowly start working from biggest in the back, smallest to the front. So I put in her composition notebook, her pencil box, some pencils, her markers. I'm basically just bringing forth the smallest things all the way to the front. And honestly, the teachers would love to have some of these extra totes sometimes in their classrooms to help organize some supplies as they go on in the year, and it makes it really easy for your kids to just carry this thing in. And again, yes, I already know they can carry them in easily in the bags, but there's something so special about giving a teacher something that looks more like a gift versus your supplies that they're coming in with. So you can see here at the very front, I tucked in some of that shredded paper, and I'm coming in with the last of the little things. And the cool thing about this item is that it just looks pretty and it looks thoughtful versus just bringing them into the bags. And your kids' stuff will all be in one contained item versus a bunch of bags that the teachers are going to lose track of who brought what. I picked up some of these plastic bags from the Dollar Tree as well, and there's 2 inside of its packaging. So I'm just going to open it up and look at how it fits so perfectly over this little container with all these supplies. Doesn't this just look so thoughtful carrying in this versus the bags? I just really want to emphasize how much teachers have been through and how much they I don't know, friends. I feel like they need a little perk this year. We heard so many stories from our teachers at our schools last year that were just thinking about retiring because they're just so burnt out and tired. And I feel like we need to give them some love. So here I am just tying on some ribbons and a big bow and a button, and Miriam's supplies are ready to be brought in on the back to school night. Up next, I'm going to share how I DIY crafted this darling tote bag. I'm going to be giving it to Miriam because she needs a book bag for the school year. And the cute thing about it is that you can easily customize any name on the front of the apple or down below. Now let me show you how I did all of these steps because they're super simple. You can use a die cutting machine or you can just use paint. I picked up this iron-on glitter green vinyl sheet. And again, you don't have to have a Cricut to work with this. I'm showing you here right now. I'm just simply cutting out a leaf cat eye shape. And once I've got it cut out, we can iron it down. So go ahead and move off that other stuff we don't need. I'm going to put a big thick blanket underneath my bag because I don't want to have any issues with my heat coming through. I'm using the Cricut heat press. I love this thing. You don't have to have this. You could totally use an iron from your home. That works too. And you don't want any steam. That's the trick. When you're using any kind of heat on these iron transfers, you don't want that steam. You want just the heat. So once it's cooled off, I'm going to remove that shiny part off. And now we were able to use the heat press without a cutting machine. So I just wanted to show with this project how you can use these iron-on transfers and not have to use a cutting machine if you don't have one. Now I went ahead and sketched on an apple and a little stem, and I'm going to insert a plastic bag into the actual bag so that I can paint the apple and the stem without it bleeding through or causing any issues of it coming through on the other side. It's an old trick, but it works so well and it has a nice clean store finish. So I'm just going to take my time going around my apple where my pencil stencil is, and I'm going to actually almost over paint just by a hair so you don't see that pencil line. And I'm going to come in with a smaller brush to do the stem of the apple. Once I've got everything painted, and I let it really dry because that's always so important when you're working with paint to move on to next steps. Always make sure they dry. I'm going to come in with a darling little bow, and I'm going to add a little button in the middle because I can't help myself. I love buttons. You could sew this on too, but if you only have hot glue, roll with that. That works too. I want to give a huge, ginormous, massive love thank you to all the teachers that are here in our country who have been through so much over this last couple of years. I see you, I acknowledge you, and I'm so grateful for you. Please leave a comment down below and share an experience where a teacher touched your life in a certain way that helped you in your education or your children's education. I would love to see those stories. Let's share it together. Let's love on teachers this school year and let's make them feel seen and heard. Now I'm going to recommend this video right here at the end. Go and check it out because if you liked this one will also be really fun to watch. Thank you so much again for stopping by today, and until the next episode, bye friends.